Hello and welcome back to another iRacing video. Today we are here at Barber Motorsport Park with the LMP3. We are doing the multi-class again. Last week we should have drove at Sebring, but that was a big disaster. Couldn't really do a lap. Literally every lap that I did was a loss of control. Spun every time again as well here when we wanted to start our first flying lap for the qualifying, but we got damage. But I still try to do a lap because just do one lap and it doesn't really matter what time you get. At least you will not start at the back. But so yeah, for Sebring I completely skipped it. But after the F4 races from this week, I may just needed a little bit more practice because Sebring is quite a fun track to drive. Of course, the F4 cars are a lot easier to drive than these LMP3s because at this track I find it quite hard. It's quite easily for me to lose the rear, to completely lose the car as we go, for an example, here in this corner without any confidence going into it. But yeah, as I said, just put a lap in. But this time we are at Barber Motorsports. I never heard of it. When I load into this track, I literally thought it was a meme track because you had a massive downhill when you go out of the pit lane. But then I did some research on Google and I saw an IndyCar hot lap, and when I saw the hot lap, it was quite interesting, to be honest. Maybe not for these type of races. In the end, after this race, I enjoyed it a lot. Track is quite fun, but yeah, it's not really an overtaking track or something, because it's quite fast. You got these left-right corners that are also pretty quick. There are like 2 or 3 overtaking opportunities as we go to the last corner. Had a decent lap, to be honest. In practice I did almost only 25s, 24s. So ending this qualifying with a 120.6 was pretty good. Could have gone quicker, but it's still good for me. As we are now going towards start finish for the start of the race, and we are on our way. Green flag. Going into turn 1, this red car goes for a dive. He doesn't hold the brakes, so I had to avoid him, and we spun. That was really unfortunate, but these things happen. As we are already mixed now with it's just one GT car, but already lost quite some times to the guys ahead. But there's a yellow flag ahead. 2 cars off, 1 completely damaged, so he will probably retire. But as you can see, the guys ahead are not even that far ahead of us, and they were not really quick. As we already catched up with this white car, and he goes off throttle, so he just lets us go. An easy move. This corner very tricky, blind corner going uphill. Pretty easy to go off track there. As I'm still a little bit uncomfortable with the track and car. As this guy goes into the corner, loses it. Don't know what he wanted to do. Really aggressive on the steering, going into the corner. But that's another place for us, as we are already up to P4. So it's pretty easy to get back to the front. Especially when you when the guys up front catch the GT cars. But I enjoyed this race quite a lot. Track is fun. So we are now catching up with the other cars. A little lock up from the Hyundai. A lovely livery. I got that one as well. This Mercedes goes out of the way. Really nice of him, because overtaking the GT cars through here is pretty difficult. As you can see, he gives us a little bit of space, but I decided to stay back. As there's a yellow flag ahead of us, but nobody on the track, so we can just keep going. We are right now in the 21 still. There is more in it, but at the moment, of course, for example here, GT cars ahead, so you cannot go really quick, as the Hyundai has a little look up the inside. Maybe they touched or somebody locked up, because there was a little bit of smoke. So if they keep fighting, we can maybe easily pass them. As the car ahead of him, he locks both front tires and goes off. Pretty easy to do that into that corner. Did it myself a few times. There's another yellow flag up ahead, 2 GT cars off here. So that's 2 GTs less to overtake. Also less time loss, as these GT guys, some of them were all over the place, didn't stay on the racing line. For example here, you cannot overtake, as this guy just completely bumps into the GT car. But some of them, they took such weird lines that you sometimes almost crash into them. And then they wanted to blame you, because they gave you space. And of course sometimes the LMP cars are going for crazy moves, because they think they are quicker. As we see another yellow flag after that perfect sector 1. It's just so nice going into T1 full, almost full throttle, a little brake and downshift. You got a hairpin and then going uphill. As we go for a late move there, pretty close to contact, as the Hyundai spins on the curb there. So that means that we don't have to overtake him. And right now we can fully focus on P1, but P1 was already about 18 seconds ahead of us. So we really needed a crash or something from him if we still want to catch up as we are moving through the field. This McLaren really slow on the exit, so I had to back off a little bit. As you hear, we are already in second place. So it was really avoiding these GT cars, go through as clean as possible. As the guy behind us who spun earlier is also still pretty close. So if we just make one mistake, then he's right on our back. But as you can see, P1 just 6 seconds ahead of us. So he had quite a lot of trouble, I guess, in the traffic. So there was still hope and a chance of winning this race. As I tried to send it up the inside was a pretty dumb move from me, because I probably flashed him that I wanted to make a move there. So he gave me a lot of space, and in the end I decided to back off. There is yellow flag, and I spin it because I was a little bit in panic. So I brake too much, and if you brake too much in these cars, then you will just lose it. It's about 50% or something when you're also steering, because the last corner is with a little bit of steering, then it's quite easy to lose it. As well as this corner. Or it's just me, that's also possible. Maybe I'm the only one that has problems with that. So we lost again quite a lot of time to P1. This GT car doesn't know where he wants to go. Blocks me a little bit. Didn't lose too much time. But right now I was really focused, because I knew that if I just did these laps, as we already done a 19.5, so for me that was pretty quick. I've seen some guys in practice do 1:17s, but that's just too fast for me. As this Mercedes makes a weird move. That's what I mean with some GTs making these weird moves, going off the racing line. As there is one car off into the barrier. We just need the clean air, so we get that right now. But we are about 10 seconds a lap faster than the GT4 cars, so the guys ahead, not the car ahead, but the next car, he's like 10 to 15 seconds ahead of us. So that means within one lap we will catch them. As we also see a yellow flag, so it could have been P1, but it's a GT car, so we can just calmly drive further. As I started to really enjoy this track from now on, because of course lap times were getting better, but if you get into the rhythm, then this track is quite a lot of fun. But first, of course, you need to get into the rhythm and push yourself to the best. So we just did a 19.1, pretty close to that 18. I knew it was in there. Optimal lap probably would be like 18.7 or something, maybe even quicker. but then you need to nail every sector, and in the race that's probably impossible for me to do, especially with the GT cars all around you. So if you got one in front of you, then you most of the time you will lose at least 1 to 2 tenths if you catch up with them into a corner, as we are now 0.5 half a second down on our time. So we could have done a 19.6 here, but I go a little bit wide into this corner, and you get a bad exit through here, all the way through here, and lose about 3 tenths. As you can see right now, as we catched up with this little pack here, we also see P1. He's just about 2 seconds ahead of us. So there's a big chance of winning this, but there is not a lot of time left. So if I wanted to do it, I need to catch up as quick as possible, because overtaking is also quite difficult, because these GT cars are a lot slower than we are. So I had a little mistake there, but 1.4 seconds, if we can manage to do at least these 1 minute 19.1, then there's a big chance of overtaking him. But first we need to catch up with him, as this GT car lets us both go. Very good looking from him, seeing that we are close to each other, P1 and P2, and you don't want to hold up anybody. Of course, you don't want to hold up anybody, but especially not P1 and P2, as we are going into the last lap. So 1.4 seconds ahead of us. We definitely need that 19.1 or quicker. So I'm going to push my heart out, and we are already gaining about 4 or 5 tenths through the first 2 corners. And we really need to push hard. As you can see, there's also a GT car up ahead. As he makes a little mistake here, I really try to go on throttle as quick as possible, but it wasn't quick enough, because he still leads his race. As we go into the slow part of the track, as we are also catching up with this Mercedes, but this guy was a legend all race. He just lets us go, gets out of the way. Of course he doesn't have to, but he still did it. But P1, he is too far ahead, as we both go off the track as well. We're really pushing as hard as we can. So he goes really slow into this corner, but I go way too wide to try and make a move on him. So he won the race, but I was still really happy with the P2. Sometimes enjoying the race is more important than winning the race. And I did enjoy it. So I hope we can have this every week. Such good races. Some guys weren't happy about the LMP cars, but I know that we didn't hit anybody. Maybe some late moves, but sometimes you just miscalculate, and then you're just too late and you both slow down, as we've seen a few times with me. But yeah, this was a good race, and let's hope we can do this every week, as we're going next week to Zandvoort, my home race. Also a very good track, a little bit similar to this one, but a little bigger, and I guess we can overtake quite some GT cars on some good corners there. As you got the long right-hander, you can send it around the outside. But these races are just so satisfying if you go overtake these GT cars. And you do it the good way, then it's just amazing to drive these machines. But I hope you guys enjoyed this race, and I hope to see you guys next week in Zandvoort.
Pit box in 10, 5, 3. Okay, the race is over. Bring it on in. 1. Okay, punch it.